Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranja Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranja Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Vija Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Vija Vihari Jam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotra Shatashi Srimati Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotra Shatashi Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहिए श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी महारानी की समवेत पौर भक्त वृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंद all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nasya Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki. We are reading from Canto 5, Chapter 25, verse number 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha. I'll only read this verse. Tasya Mula Deshe Trimshad Yojana Sahasrantara Aste Ya Vai Kala Bhagavatas Tamasi Samyak Samakhyat Ananta Iti Satvatiya Drashtra Drashyayo Yam Sankarshanam Iti Achakshate. Word to word meaning. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shukdev Goswami said, Tasya of the planet Patal, Mula Deshe in the region beneath the base, Trimshat 30, Yojana 8 mile units of measurement, Sahasrantare at an interval of 1000, Aste remains, Ya which, Vai indeed, Kala an expansion of an expansion, Bhagavataha of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tamasi related to darkness, Samakhyata called, Anantaha Ananta, Iti thus, Satvatiya the devotees, Drashtra Drashyayo of matter and spirit, Sankarshanam the drawing together, Aham I, Iti thus, Abhimana by self-conception, lakshanam, symptomized, yam, whom, sankarshanam, sankarshan, iti, thus, achakshate. Learned scholars describe. Translation and purport by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Shri. Shri Shukdev Goswami said to Maharaj Parikshit, "My dear king, approximately 240,000 miles beneath the planet Patal lives another incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the expansion of Lord Vishnu, known as Lord Ananta or Lord Sankarsana. He is always in the transcendental position, but because he is worshipped by Lord Shiva, the deity of Tamoguna or darkness, he is sometimes called as Tamasi. Lord Ananta is the predominating deity of the material mode of ignorance as well as the false ego of all conditioned souls. When a conditioned living being thinks, I am the enjoyer and this world is meant to be enjoyed by me, this conception of life is dictated to him by Sankarsana. Thus, the mundane conditioned soul thinks himself the Supreme Lord. Purport. There is a class of men akin to Mayavadi philosophers who misinterpret the Aham Brahmasmi and Soham Vedic mantras to mean I am the Supreme Brahman and I am identical with the Lord. This kind of false conception in which one thinks himself the supreme enjoyer is a kind of illusion. It is described elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.8, Janasya Mohoyam Aham Mameti. As explained in the above verse, Lord Sankarsana is the predominating deity of this false conception. Krishna confirms this in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart as Sankarsana, and when a demon thinks himself one with the Supreme Lord, the Lord keeps him in that darkness. Although such a demonic living entity is only an insignificant part of the Supreme Lord, he forgets his true position and thinks he is the Supreme Lord. Because this forgetfulness is created by Sankarsana, he is sometimes called Tamasi. The name Tamasi does not indicate that he has a material body. He is always transcendental, but because he is the super soul of Lord Shiva, who must perform tamasic activities, Sankarsana is sometimes called Tamasi. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhisham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for Tuesday morning Bhagavatam class. So this is the beginning of new chapter, chapter 25. So in previous chapter, we saw it was named as subterranean heavenly planets, where the description of the Bilas Varga or the lower planetary systems was given. So it was described that above, the place where we stay, Jambudvip, above is also heavenly planetary system. The place where we stay, Jambudvipa, so it's divided in 9 varshas. The other 8 varshas are also called as Bhauma Swarga. This is the only place which is not a place of heavenly enjoyment, but the place of misery, the place where we stay, Bharat Varsha. Other 8 varshas are also Bhauma Swarga. And below that also there is Bila Swarga, or all the lower 7 planetary systems they are also considered to be Swarga because their opulence is also very, very high. So the thing to be understand is above is also Swarga, beside is also Swarga, and lower is also Swarga only. The only place of misery is this current place where we are staying. And the descriptions that came, that also said that actually who is more fortunate? Are these people more fortunate or we are more fortunate? But the thing is actually we are more fortunate. Why? Because all these people, they are simply engaged in sense enjoyment in heavenly planetary system, and they forget one important aspect of the energy of the Lord, that is Kala Chakra. So they are so much engaged in this material enjoyment that they forget that at one day, at some point of time, death is going to come, it's going to strike them, and it will remove from that position. But this place, Bharat Varsha, since it is afflicted with full of miseries, so it makes the environment very conducive to surrender to Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, Bharat Varsha is also glorified as best amongst all of these. So in the Bila Swarga, we were seeing different planetary systems. Like first Atal Loka was described, where some demons used to stay. Then Vital Loka was described, that is planetary system of Lord Shiva. And then Sutal Loka was described. So Shukdev Goswami was finishing all the planetary systems in one sloka. But when the description of Sutal Loka came, he described for around 10 verses. So that's only because of the devotional qualities of Bali Maharaj. Because Sutal Loka is very, very, it is considered, even when in second canto, when Shukdev Goswami was describing these planetary systems, he said that Sutal Loka is a pure Loka. Why it is pure? Because of presence of devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj. So just by the presence of these devotees, that Loka has become very much pure. And therefore, Shukdev Goswami took the opportunity to glorify Bali Maharaj in pastime of Vaman Deva. So therefore, that was described for around 10 verses. And then in again one verse, he finished the Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal planetary systems. And then now we come to the 25th chapter, where what is below Patal Loka, that has been described. So that says, Tasya Mula Deshe Trimsad Yojana Sahasrantara. So Tasya below Patal, the distance of Trimshad Yojana Sahasrantara. Trimshad means 30, Sahasrantara means 1000. So 30,000 yojanas. If we calculate it to miles, it is 240,000 miles. Below that, who is there? Asta Yavai Kala Bhagavatas Tamasi Samakhyata Ananta. So who resides? Ananta resides below 240,000 miles below the Patal. There resides Ananta. And who is Ananta? Aste Vai Kala Bhagavata. So he is a Kala. So there are two types of expansions of Lord. One is Amsha and one is Kala. So in the shloka we see Ete Chamsha Kala Pumsam. So Amsha and Kala are the two types. Amshas are the direct expansions and Kala are the expansions of expansion. So Ananta is not the direct expansion, but he is the expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, but actually, still there is no difference between them and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the example that is given is of candle. Like there is an original candle, and it's like it lights another innumerable number of candles. So there is no difference between any of the candle, but still the original candle or the first candle is the foremost, from which is the source of all other candles. So therefore, ultimately, there is no difference between Amsha and Kala, but the source of all of that is Krishna only. And then there is very nice or shocking thing is given, that he is considered, or he is known as Tamasi, because we see in so many descriptions that he is considered to be transcendental from all these modes of material nature. But here he is described as Tamasi. So why he is described as Tamasi? That Prabhupada explains in the purport. The name Tamasi does not indicate that he has a material body. He is always transcendental, but he is the super soul of Lord Shiva who performs tamasic activities, and therefore Sankarsana is sometimes called as Tamasi. So this also comes in the description of Jambudvipa, when we are seeing the 9 different varshas, who were the leaders of the 9 different varshas and who were being worshipped. So one of the varsha was Ilavrata Varsha. So that was ruled by Lord Shiva. And there Lord Shiva was engaged with his wife Bhavani, or goddess Durga. And there the description comes that all the other residents were females only. There is no male except for Lord Shiva. And anyone from outside, any other male who tries to enter to that particular Varsha, Ilavrata Varsha, so Parvati or Durga Devi curses him to become a woman, because that is the place where only Lord Shiva is the male, no one else can be the male. So in that description comes, so there also Lord Shiva's worshipable personality is described as Sankarshana. So he offers his prayers to Sankarshana because he receives all his tamasic energies or energy to destroy the material world from Sankarshana only. So here we see a very important aspect, that when we say that creator, maintainer and destroyer, it is all three are Vishnu only. But for creation purpose, he empowers Brahma, and for destruction purpose, he empowers Lord Shiva, and maintenance he does himself only. So ultimately, the primary creator, maintainer, and destroyer is Lord Vishnu only. So there, Lord Shiva engages in and he offers very nice prayers to Sankarsana, which we'll see at the later point of time. So, but now, what is the job description of Sankarsana? That is further explained in this verse. That is also very nice. It says, "Drashtra drashyayo Sankarshanam ahamiti abhimana lakshanam." So, drashtra drashyayo Sankarshanam. What does that mean? Drashtra means seer, जो देख रहा है, that is the seer, and drashyayo means object of seer. So Sankarshana, what he is, Sankarshana in itself means to draw or to create attraction between two objects. So Lord Sankarshana, what it is, he does he creates attraction between the seer and the object. So, and just like he says in Prabhupada in word to word, right, it creates attraction between matter and spirit. So the seer is the spirit and the object of attraction is matter. So this false creation or false attraction that is being created by Lord Sankarshana. So actually, spirit soul has nothing to do with matter. But still, yedam dharyate jagat, we are trying to exploit matter only because of this tendency or this power of this potency of Lord Sankarsana, that we are getting attracted to sense objects, even though we have no connection with them. We are spirit souls. So therefore, this happens due to potency of Sankarsana. And ahamiti abhiman lakshanam. After this false attachment is grown, then further aham, mameti, all these things happen. That Prabhupada explains in the purport. So before that, there was another important word in this verse, that is called Satvatiya. So Satvata means devotees. So that we see in various verses also in Bhagavatam, it comes that Tasma Dekena Manasa Bhagwan Satvatampati. So Satvatampati means protector or maintainer of the devotees. So that is the meaning of Satvatam. So now let's discuss this important aspect from Prabhupada's purport. So Prabhupada in purport, he said, when a conditioned living being thinks, I am the enjoyer and this world is meant to be enjoyed by me, this conception of life is dictated to him by Sankarshana. Thus the mundane conditioned soul thinks himself the Supreme Lord. So we'll discuss on this statement, where Prabhupada also meant that Janasya Mohoyam Aham Mameti, that how a person falls into entanglement of thinking Aham, I, me and mine, and that happens due to Mohoyam, that happens due to Moha. So the full sloka goes like this: Pumsa Striya Mituni Bhavametam Tayor Mito Hridaya Grantim Ahu Ato Griha Kshetra Sutapta Vitter Janasya Mohoyam Aham Mameti. So it is described in this verse that how a conditioned soul falls into the pit of material entanglement. So first of all, what happens? Pumsa Striya Mithuni Bhavetam. Man and woman come together with the spirit of enjoyment, and then what happens by their union? What happens? Tayor Mitho Hridaya Granti Mahu. That a tight knot in the heart is being bound, and then further comes Ato Griha Kshetra Sutapta Vitter. So Prabhupada in few lectures back in his classes, he was explaining this, that how a person gets entangled. Like first of all, there is a tendency to engage or enjoyment in sex life. Once that happens, now you have to maintain the woman or you have to maintain the wife. Now because of that, what will happen? Naturally, grihastha ashram means children should be there. It is said that without children, the grihastha ashram is compared to crematorium. So there is, if बच्चे नहीं है सांसारिक जीवन में, so it's compared to a crematorium. So kids should be there. So once they engage, then kids are there. Now the knot is become much more tighter, and now they want a nice house to stay with. Griha. Now griha, for griha, to maintain the family, to maintain the griha, what is required? Kshetra. Kshetra means field. So in older times, mostly the agenda or working of everyone was on farming only. Everyone, because that was the main source of income for everyone. So kshetra chahiye, on that they'll do farming, then they'll be able to maintain their families. So like the kshetra is required, and then once you gain a lot of money, then naturally friends and relatives will be attracted, and then you have to maintain them also, friends, relatives, etc. They also get very much attracted looking at the opulence, and then you want to earn more and more to show off to them more and more. Like that, a person starts to work like donkey day and night only earn money and to maintain all these family members, which is not at all required, and he forgets the main aim of life, that is self realization. So that is how a person gradually gets entangled into this. Therefore, Bali Maharaj, in his prayers, when he surrendered everything to the Lord, he surrendered everything. When Lord captured him with the ropes of Varuna, at that time, what happened? His other associates, the demons, they wanted to attack Vaman Dev. See, that because he has skillfully or in a cheating way, he has taken away everything. So they said, let us attack Vaman Dev. But then associates of Lord Vishnu, like Nanda, Sunanda, Jai Vijay, all of them came, Garuda came, and they all destroyed the army of Bali. Even though Bali said that don't attack his Lord Vishnu, but still they did not listen. And then the rest of the asuras, they ran away into the lower planetary systems. So Bali Maharaj, in a moment, he lost everything. He lost his wealth, he lost his possessions, he lost all his relatives and everything, even his own body he lost. He surrendered his own body. But then he was thinking that he is very, very fortunate. So Bali Maharaj was saying, what is the use of material body which will automatically leave its owner at the end of death? This material body is anyways not permanently mine. It will anyways leave me during the time of death. And then what is the use of family members who are compared to just plunderers of wealth? So ये relatives जो ये मेरे असुर खानदान के जो लोग थे, what is the point of them? Because they were only plundering my wealth, and they were actually of no use for self-realization for me. So these people were also waste only. And what is the use of wife when she is reason for only increasing material conditioning? So even though in the description it was said that wife was standing just beside, and she was also crying that my husband is being bound, but he was so detached. He says, what is the use of wife when she increases only material conditioning? So in that also Prabhupada in purport clarifies that actually wife is not the one who is the reason for material conditioning, but it is our tendency to enjoy or to look at her with the mode of sense gratification. Because there have been many examples also where wife has been the cause of elevation of the person. But when we look at the opposite gender with a mode of sense gratification or enjoyment, then that becomes a problem and that entangles the person more and more. So here he was explaining that what is the use of wife, relatives, everything. What is the use of family, home, country, community when attachment to them merely wastes valuable time of life? So this is the vision of a self-realized soul, that he is not attached to Griha, Kshetra, Sutap, Vittar and all these things. So therefore, and there are so many examples of how a person falls under this Aham Mameti. So let's discuss a few prominent examples. So one of the most prominent examples that came in my mind who got completely entangled in this Aham Mameti is Indra. So when he got cursed by Brihaspati, when he offended Brihaspati and when he got a curse to become a hog in his next life. So immediately he left the heavenly planetary system to fulfill his curse and he was born as hog. And there it is said he was a king hog, means all other hogs were subordinate to him. He had many hog friends, he had a she hog wife, and he had many small piglets also. So it was said he was very nicely enjoying life with all of them, serving the piglets, serving wife, and then enjoying with friends, and then eating stool. So he was very much nicely enjoying this life of his. But then with time, what happened? Now the devatas, they realized no one is there and demons can attack at any time, and the time of his curse was about to end. So at that time, Brahma, the creator of the universe, he himself came to make him realize कि चलो अभी, and he thought Indra might be eager to leave that body of hog and come back to the heavenly enjoyment which he had. So he went to Indra and he said कि चलो हो गया अभी बहुत हो गया, घर घर खेल लिया, now you have to go back to and rule the heavenly kingdom. So at that time he said, no, why should I come? I have a wife, I have my small piglets to maintain, I have friends, everything is there, I am nicely happy here enjoying stool. So like that, at that time Brahma was exclaiming that what is the power of illusory potency of the Lord? What is the power of avidya of the Lord? That this person who was enjoying heavenly enjoyments and now in the abominable life of pig, he is enjoying his friends and eating stool and he's thinking it's a great enjoyment. So this is the power of Aham Mameti, that a person gets entangled into this. This is the power of illusory potency of the Lord. So there he was enjoying and he was still not ready to come. So Brahma, he started to kill all the kids of Indra, the small piglets. He started to throw one after them and he started to kill them. And he was becoming very angry that how come you kill my kids? Then Brahma picked up wife and he killed wife also. Now he became very, very angry and finally he exterminated this body of Indra also. And then when Indra got released from that body, at that time he realized in what illusion I was. So that's how a person gets entangled into the family life, even not in the case of humans also, but even in animals also, they are suffering through this. So this is one of the great example. Another prominent example that came recently, I was reading the third canto, where the pastime of Devavati comes. So Devavati, she is the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, who is considered to be a very, very great devotee. So when they wanted to expand the creation, Swayambhuva Manu was looking for a perfect husband for her very qualified daughter, Devavati. So they all approached Kardama Muni. Because Kardam Muni, who was a very, very greatly elevated personality, and he was a transcendental personality. Actually, he was a pure spiritualist. So at that time, they said that Kardam Muni would be perfect, and they bought Devahuti to give to Kardam Muni. Now, once the marriage was done, Devahuti, she forgot about herself and she was completely engaged in serving Kardam Muni only. So she did not care even for her own body. That's how much nicely she was serving Kardam Muni. So much so that her body completely emaciated and her hairs were completely entangled. Though she was considered to be very, very beautiful, but now she did not care about her own beauty, and her only that's how much chaste she was, that her only goal was to serve his husband. And then after many, many years of service, when Kardam Muni looked at Devahuti, he became very, very compassionate. He said that people in the material world are generally so much attached to their body. And especially a beautiful person like Devahuti, they are very, very much attached to their body. But still, for my service, you have forgotten your own body itself. So therefore, I am very, very happy by your service. Now you ask me, what do you want? At that time, Devahuti, so she said that I have been serving you for so while, but now Grihastha life means kids should be there. So I want to enjoy this nice atmosphere with you. Nice, I want to have a sexual union, and I want various kinds of kids so that our Grihastha house can become full. So at that time, Prabhupada was saying about, and when Kardam Muni heard the request, then he said, okay, I'll fulfill it immediately. And then by his mystic powers, he created a mansion which was flying. That was a 7-story building which could fly anywhere. Even in some places, demigods also have restriction to go, but that this mansion could go anywhere and enjoy anywhere. They could enjoy anywhere. So like that, then Devahuti came back to her original beautiful position, and they were all. It seems they were all enjoying for hundreds and thousands of years in that mansion, going from one planetary system to another, looking the beautiful scenario there. Like that, they were enjoying. And then finally, they engaged in sexual intercourse also. That also went for a while. The description comes. He said in their enjoyment, it was said that 100 autumn seasons passed by. And then the description comes that these 100 autumn seasons passed by as just a few moments go away. So that's how flickering or momentary the material enjoyment is. You might seem to enjoy that I am going to enjoy a lot, but at the end it is antavattu phalam tesham. The engagement or the enjoyment that comes from material enjoyment is flickering and very, very short. With time it will go away. So then Kardama placed semen into the womb of Devahuti, and then 9 daughters came out of Devahuti. Now Devahuti remembered the initial promise of Kardama Muni that as soon as kids will be begotten, he would take away the sannyas from Grihastha life and he would go to forest. And now Devahuti, she realized her big blunder and she started to lament that this much time I have simply passed in sense gratification, even though when I had a greatly elevated husband like you. So here in purport, Srila Prabhupada was mentioning the lamentable or pitiable position of Devahuti and also the of conditioned living entities. That there are 3 very, very rare opportunities. First rare opportunity is getting a human form of life. That itself is very, very rare. In so many varshas, so many lokas, there are so many kinds of species. But then getting a human form of life, that is very, very rare. In that also, what is more rare than that? That is birth in a suitable family where there is cultivation of knowledge. So Devahuti, she did not just get a human form of life, but she was also being born in a very, very cultured and educated family like that of Swayambhuva Manu, who was also a pure devotee of the Lord. So she was born into such a family where she was trained in the culture of self-realization from the beginning. So this is also human form is still okay, but then this is more rare than that, to getting born in this kind of suitable family. And in that also, the most rare thing is getting association of Mahabhagavat like Kardam. So this is even more rarer than getting a birth in a nice spiritually cultivating family. So Devahuti had all 3 of them, not just human birth, not just proper or suitable family, but also association of Mahabhagavat like Kardam Muni. But still, at the end of the day, when she was able to please Kardam Muni, she wanted to enjoy in sense gratification only. So that is the condition that Prabhupada explains in purport. That is the condition of all the living entities. That we have also got human form, and we have also got this rare association. Now it depends upon us whether to get entangled or getting tricked by Maya, or to take the full advantage of this association. So at that time she was lamenting, and after her lamentation, Kardam Muni said, "Don't worry. Soon, for Supreme Personality of Godhead, as in the form of Lord Kapila, he will take birth in your womb, and he will be cutting all your material attachments." So it is said, just by moments of association of Kardam Muni, she got delivered. Even though the moment of association was in the mood of sense gratification, but then still association of Mahabhagavat is so very powerful that even if you associate with them in mood of sense gratification, it will still provide once the deliverance of from all miseries of life. So the point is, Devahuti had all three of them, but still she was being tricked by avidya or material nescience, that even after having all these three, she wanted to enjoy sense gratification, or that is the power of moha or avidya of the Lord. Even the example of Bharat Maharaj that comes, that after renouncing everything, he got attached to a deer. So all these pastimes, they indicate how much powerful is the illusory potency of the Lord. Janasya mohoyam, moha. So let's see how this moha or misidentification with matter happens in a living entity. So for that, let's go to the creation of pastime by Brahma. So Brahma, when he was given the responsibility that you do the creation or the sub-secondary creation of the material universe, at that time he did not know what to do. So he engaged in lots of austerity, penances, and meditation on the Supreme Lord. Being pleased, Lord said that you go ahead in the creation, I'll be there with you, I'll be helping you, and you will not be bewildered in the matter of terms of creation. So then Brahma began his creation, and the creation of Brahma began with creating 5 elements. So let's see what those 5 elements are. So he began creation by creating 5 objects that formed the function of ignorance of avidya. So the verse says, ससर जागरे अंध तमिश्रम अथ तामिश्रम अधिकृता महामोहम च मोहम च तमश्च अज्ञान वृत्तया. So he created 5 objects. First of all is moha, second mahamoha, third tamishra, fourth andha tamishra, and fifth tamas. Verse number I did not write, I'll send. So now let's try to see and understand the functionality of each and everything, what these 5 objects does to us. So first thing is tamas. So what does tamas do? It is the cause of ignorance of swarupa of jiva. So it is because of this tamas that a person forgets his original swarupa, or what is the real identity of jiva. Next, after tamas, the role of moha comes. Moha is nothing but identification of self with the body. तो अभी अपना constitutional position पहले भूल गए, we forgot that, and now a false identity is given to us, that is because of moha, that one identifies himself with the body. Third comes mahamoha, when one starts to enjoy thinking that this body is his self. Now he starts to apply possessiveness to the object of sense enjoyment. So now he gets entangled into thinking that this body is me and these are all my objects of sense gratification. So that attraction that is getting created to this sense object, that is nothing but mahamoha. After mahamoha comes into the picture tamishra. So when one tries to fulfill these sense gratificatory desires, and then it is unfulfilled, and it is for sure that at some point of time it will be unfulfilled only, then comes tamishra or anger, when one is not able to get the desired sense object. And then this tamishra turns into andha tamishra, that a person becomes so much mad or so much angry that it is compared to death only. The andha tamishra, it is compared to sense of death. So before the factual creation of living entities could begin, Brahma created these 5 things, because these 5 things were necessary to stay in the material world. Because Jiva, until and unless he does not forget his real position, and until and unless he does not identify himself with the matter, there is no question of material enjoyment for him. So it is not, but now someone may say, "Arey, Brahma ko banana hi nahi chahiye tha ye 5 objects, so everyone would be happy, there would be no." But then Brahma was forced to create because it was us living entities who wanted to enjoy separate from the Supreme Lord. So therefore, it was not that Brahma was very pleased after creating. In fact, it was even he was lamenting that why I created these 5 objects. But then it had to be created so that living entities could be put in forgetfulness or illusion. Now let's see what happened more ahead in this pastime. So after creating these 5 objects, he was feeling very, very miserable, very, very sad. So he said, "Abhi kuch अच्छा बनाना चाहिए मेरे को." So he started to begin meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He set on austerities for a long time, and then came the Chatush Kumaras from him. Those are the 4 Kumaras. And these 4 Kumaras, they represent, so the previous 5 were 5 aspects of avidya, and the 4 Kumaras, they represented 4 aspects of vidya. So how can one cultivate vidya? What the 4 Kumaras, each and everyone represented is Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapas. So the 4 Kumaras represented this. First is Sankhya, second is Yoga, third is Vairagya, and fourth is Tapas. So these 4 appeared in the 4 form of Kumaras, and these 4 are solution for avidya. So we all know that vidya destroys avidya. So similarly, when one engages in these 4 activities, one can come over or defeat avidya. So one who engages in these 4 will be able to destroy these 5 aspects of avidya. Now in past time, later what happened, Brahma said that chalo abhi, now creation, now the progeny has to come, so now you four quickly bade ho jao and you get married and you create progeny. But then these four were completely Vasudeva Parayana. The verse Shukdev Goswami used this word, that they were Vasudeva Parayana. They were in no mood of getting entangled in the married life, so because they only wanted to worship Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. So therefore they were not interested in marriage, and Brahma, he became very, very angry when, because it's a duty of son to follow whatever the instructions of father are. But then there is one exception that is given. In one case, the instruction of father can be rejected when it is aimed towards higher self realization. But it is said, no, one becomes free of all kinds of debts when one engages in worship, or when one is Vasudeva Parayana. Then there is no debt from father, mother, demigods, rishi. So all this, now there is no debt. So they were not wrong. And recently my father, he was also reading this third canto of Bhagavatam, and he came to this. In purport, Prabhupada explained that there is nothing wrong in going against father and taking the renounced order of life. So that photo he picked up and sent me. And then I said, I am not Vasudeva Parayana, so it's not applicable on us. So they were very, very powerful. These four Kumaras, it is said, there were Urdhva Reta Brahmacharis. That means Reta means semen and Urdhva means ulta, upar jata hai. Their semen used to go upwards. This much how powerful these Brahmacharis were. So now Brahma, he was already very much worried about creation. Ki creation kaise hoga? In that also he set for so much austerity. In that also, when finally four nice kids are there, they were to beget nice progeny. In that also the four Kumars rejected the request of Brahma. So he became very, very angry, intolerably angry. And he tried to overcome that anger, but then still in his anger, he tried to curb out his anger, but from his eyebrows, a child mixed blue and red was immediately generated. So the anger came out of from his eyebrow, and then a red and blue child, it was emerged, and that is considered to be Rudra. So Rudra was born, and as soon as he was born, he began to cry very loudly. बहुत जोर जोर से रोने लगा, and anxiously he was praying to Brahma, "Oh Jagat Guru, give me name and place to stay. मुझे नाम दो और मुझे स्थान दो." So at that time, Lord Brahma said, "अच्छा, after birth only तू इतना जोर का रोया है, तेरा नाम रुदन किया है, और you have cried so loudly, you have done रुदन so loudly, so your name is Rudra." And then he gave him suitable places to stay. Now, very important understanding from this aspect, it comes that Brahma was the one who sat in austerities for so long. He created the four aspects of Vidya, but then still he could not control his anger, and that anger, or Tamishra, it came out of him. So Tamishra is the chief aspect of Avidya. Avidya ka chief aspect is Tamishra, and that came out of Brahma. So this pastime, it represents that even Avidya can destroy Vidya. It is not, Vidya can definitely destroy Avidya, but sometimes Avidya also destroys Vidya. Because Brahma was a personality who was in knowledge, and still anger took upon him, and then Avidya, which he had, Avidya destroyed Vidya for Brahma. So therefore, because ultimately the material nature, it has three main aspects. That is Vidya, Avidya, and Pradhan. So Pradhan is this undifferentiated matter or unmanifested state of inert matter, and when it is acted upon, it turns into Mahatattva, and other 24 elements comes into the picture. So this is duty of Pradhana. And other two aspects of Maya are Vidya and Avidya. So Vidya causes illumination or knowledge, and Avidya causes ignorance or darkness. So therefore, Vidya, it is not transcendental, but it is the one of the aspect of Maya only. So sometimes it is said, no, people in mode of goodness, there in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says sometimes goodness is heavy, sometimes ignorance becomes heavy, and a person in goodness can also fall victim to this. So goodness in itself, it represents Vidya, but then anytime the material situation in material is not at all stable, anytime ignorance can take over. So therefore, Vidya or knowledge, it is not a very, very stable platform, because anytime Vidya or ignorance can take over a person. But then now the question may be asked, then what is the solution for, and we have seen so many examples also this, that goodness is not a very stable platform, like Vishwamitra Muni. He also engaged in so many tapascharya, so many austerities, but ultimately usko pata hai ki engaging in sex life with Apsara, it will lead to his fall down. But Janiya Suniya Bishakainu, like Avidya covers one's knowledge so in a very dark way that he forgets his real identity. So it's not that Vishwamitra Muni or Ajamil, these personalities didn't knew that what is correct for me. But the power of Avidya is so strong that it bewilders a living entity, and he makes it forget everything, and he still engages in abominable activities. So therefore, this is not a, Vidya is not a solution for this. In this regards, an example of Vyasadeva and Gemini Rishi comes. This is also very, very prominent and very, very nicely given example. So Vyasadeva in his class, his lecture was going on, he was saying that senses are very, very powerful. And he was saying even a learned man should not remain alone with his mother, sister or daughter. Even a learned man, a person in Vidya. So now Gemini Rishi, he got bewildered and he rose his hand कि I have a question, ऐसा कैसे बोल रहे? Even a learned man के साथ ऐसा कैसे? A person who possesses Vidya, how can he fall victim to this? So Vyasadeva said, ठीक है, I'll give reply. Now I'm going to Badrinath ashram. I'll give reply coming back. But until I come back, you take the in charge of this hermitage of or this ashram. You become the leader, and I'll come back and I'll give the answer. So he went away, and then Gemini Rishi, okay, I'll do whatever you say. Then what happened? It was an evening time, and very strong winds and rains was going on. So a very, very bad weather was there, and he went to Ganges for taking a bath, which is the daily duties of Brahmana. So he went there, he took a bath, and while he was coming back, a very, very beautiful lady came with a tinkling of anklets and leglets like that. She came in a very charming way. And it is said that Gemini Rishi didn't even look at her. Like, unki nazare down hi thi, so only feet, the anklets or the leglets where he was able to see. And then that woman said that I am Besahara, I do not have any shelter, I don't know, I need protection. So can I come with you in your hermitage? So he said, no, we are strict brahmacharis, we cannot associate with women. But then he said, Dekho, weather is like that, I have no other shelter. And she urged. So Gemini Rishi said, okay, since it is our duty to give protection to everyone, so we'll give protection to you. But then I'll give you a separate room. You lock the room from inside, and anyone, whoever, koi bhi hai, even if I come and say that open the door, you do not open the door until unless morning nahi ho jata. So even if I say that please open the door, never open the door. So like that he took to the ashram and he gave the room. She locked the door from inside. Now Gemini Rishi ka meditation ka time aaya. He started to sit in meditation, but then that chanak was coming into his mind again and again. So he was getting distracted, and then thoughts started to come into his mind. कि अब मुझे क्या करना? Maybe I should ask that from where she came. Suddenly बारिश में कैसे जंगल के बीच में आ गई? Maybe I should ask some questions to her. So he becoming so much agitated, he went to the room and started to knock that I am Gemini, please open. I want to see you. I want to talk to you. And she said, no, I have been told that even Gemini, she comes, don't open the door. And he became so very restless that he climbed the above the hut, he removed the grass and he removed the top layer and he jumped inside. And then he started madly running up. And पहले तो पैर ही देखे थे, but now he looked at the beautiful face of that woman and he started madly running after her. And then as soon as he finally caught hold of her, that turned into Vyasadeva. वो देखा बड़ी बातें कर रहे थे, the learned man cannot be distracted, and now you personally got distracted. And I had heard another very interesting version of this. So the pastime is same only, but the ending is little different. So ending में वो छत से जब कूद के when he went inside and he said he did not directly pounce on her, but then he said that I want to marry with you. I want to get married to you. Then woman said, okay, we can get married, but I have one condition. हम ये पास वाले मंदिर में शादी करेंगे. We'll get married in that temple. But then I have a condition. You will take me on your this कंधे पे लेके जाओगे and you will make your face fully blackened. अपना मुंह काला करके मुझे कंधे पे बिठा के तुम मंदिर पे लेके जाओगे. And then there we will get married. So he said, okay, वैसे भी रात का टाइम है, कोई जगह हुआ नहीं है. I'll blacken my mouth. I will do whatever she says because I'm so mad after her. So he did. He मुंह काला करके he started to take that woman. And then when they were approaching temple, he started to feel some slaps कि कोई थप्पड़ मार रहा है मुझे. And she said he was thinking that what is she doing? I don't know, but still I want to marry. He was so determined. He was not caring about the slaps. And then with time, slaps became more tighter and tighter. He was feeling the very, very strong. And then कि क्या हो गया इसको? And he looked above and it was his guru Vyasadeva was sitting on the this one. At that time he realized that it is my spiritual master and he begged forgiveness. And he realized this is the power of avidya, that it can cover vidya of even a learned personalities. This was another version which I had heard. So this by these pastimes we can come to know that vidya cannot destroy avidya. But then what is the permanent solution? How can we permanently destroy avidya? That is our aspect, or that is what is the solution for that. So let's try to understand it with another pastime of Brahma. So when Brahma, he was engaged in creation, one of the very, very key aspect that happened was he was creating so many entities, and he created Vak, or goddess of speech. And then he got bewildered by the beauty of her own daughter, and he got attracted to her own daughter. He wanted to engage in sexual intercourse with her own daughter. So this was one of the pastime that happened during creation, that he created, and he got attracted to one of his own daughter. Now looking at this condition, all the other sons of Brahma, headed by Marich and all the 9 sages, they got bewildered. कि ये ब्रह्मा को क्या हो गया? That he is supposed to be most learned personality, but now he is getting attracted to his own daughter. So therefore, now they were trying to give some vidya to Brahma, so give some sense of knowledge to Brahma that what you are going to do. So they were praying to Brahma and they tried various techniques for doing that. So they said, "Oh Father, this performance in which you are endeavoring to complicate yourself was never attempted by any other Brahma, nor by anyone else, nor by you in previous kalpa, nor will anyone dare to attempt in the future. That this act which you are going to perform, it is so very abominable कि ब्रह्मा छोड़ो कोई भी लिविंग एंटिटी इसको करने के बारे में नहीं सोच सकता, neither in past nor in present nor in future. That kind of abominable act this is." So they were trying their best to give vidya to Brahma, but Brahma, it was said that he was unmoved. He was completely vyavasaya atmika buddhi. He wanted to enjoy her own daughter. And then they were praying more that you are the most powerful being. This act does not suit you because your character is followed for spiritual improvement of people in general. That if Brahma himself, the head of the universe, will engage in such an activity, then what will the example, the common living entities say? Yad yad acharati shreshto. So they will also think the Brahma ne bhi kiya, so we will also do. They'll get a free license to engage in these things. And if these things start to happen, then the material universe will go for toss. Material universe, which was created ideally for spiritual elevation of conditioned living entities, that will never be fulfilled. So all these 9 sages were worried and they were trying best, giving various reasons to convince Brahma. But it was said Brahma was so very determined, he did not care, and his focus was clear that he wanted to enjoy her daughter. At that time, looking that Vidya is failing, knowledge is failing, what they did, they surrendered to Supreme Personality of Godhead and they started to offer prayers to God. Let us offer a respectful obeisance unto the Personality of Godhead, who by his own effulgence, while situated in himself, has manifested this cosmos. May he also protect religion for all goodness. So you are that person who created this cosmos. Now it is your duty also to protect this cosmos for goodness of everyone. So when they offered prayers to Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead, at that time Brahma got a true realization that what stupid activity I was going to perform. And because of that prayers by his son, which was heard by Supreme Personality of Godhead, this happened. Brahma got illumination, and then finally he refrained from doing that activity. And in his shame, he gave up that body, or it is explained he gave up that mentality to engage in sex with her own daughter. So therefore, the point it is one is able to conquer avidya only and only by mercy of the Lord. Mameva ye prapadyanti mayamitam taranti. Either directly someone surrenders, or if someone offers prayers, both of them will be helpful or a proper solution. But the solution is one only, that is surrendering to a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this pastime, one important learning is to take is that Brahma's position is not challenged. It is not that one should start to look at Brahma ki ye to apni daughter se he got attached. So like that, in a pitiable way, it should not happen. But these pastimes happen only to prove that if Brahma can also get entangled in these kinds of things, then what your normal living entities are, it can happen with anyone. So these pastimes happen not to defame Brahma, but his position is never challenged. He is still the creator of the universe. He is still the most respectable personality. But such pastimes happen only to remind us of living entities that how much powerful is the avidya of the Lord. So therefore, the only solution is given, that is surrenderance to Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this regard, this shloka comes in Bhagavatam. Ye anya arvindaksha vimukta maninas tvayasta bhavat avishuddha buddhya aruya krichena param padam tata patanti ado anadrita yusmat angraya. So here Brahma and the demigods, they are offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that anyone who takes any other means of deliverance except for bhakti, and they take other means of deliverance except for bhakti, like they engage in tapasya and all these kinds of things, they might be able to achieve a very very good or very very highly elevated position in goodness, and they also might be able to think that now we have become liberated. But then still, because they have not taken the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet, it is for sure they will fall down, no matter how much ever elevated position in vidya they achieve. But then still, this power of material nature or avidya of material nature is so strong that they will definitely fall down, because they have not taken the shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet. So therefore, Prabhupada, he always, in his examples, he gives this example of Vishwamutra Muni and Srila Haridas Thakur and Ajamil versus Haridas Thakur. That what was the thing that was lacking? Vishwamutra Muni was so much, he was austerity personified, great austerities he used to do, but then still he was strict. Whereas Haridas Thakur, even the prostitute in the dead of night coming 3 times consecutively, still he was not strict. So what is the difference between both of them? Because Shri Haridas Thakur had completely taken the shelter of holy names or lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Therefore, he could not be tricked. Avidya could not overpower him. Because if you see the 4 aspects which were given, the 4 Kumaras Vidya that was given, that was Sankhya, Yoga, Tapascharya and Renunciation. All these 4 items also have Bhakti in it. But Bhakti is the secondary item in that. Bhakti is not the primary item. Because whatever process you take, Bhakti is the only element that gives the result. And there also these 4 things give result or temporary freedom from avidya only by power of Bhakti only. But the problem in these 4 processes is Bhakti is not the chief element or principal element. Bhakti is just the secondary element, and they use Bhakti only for support. Their main element is their yoga, samkhya and respective things. So therefore this is very, very important to understand that Bhakti is the only thing that can give freedom from avidya, from these pastimes we understand. So, and also he gives the comparison between Ajamil or Haridas Thakur, that Ajamil also a very, very nicely trained Brahmana. But then when he saw the prostitute and the other Shudra, they were enjoying it, the Vidya was so strong on him, he knew that what this is incorrect for me, but still nonetheless he engaged in sinful activity of engaging in sex with the prostitute. Even though he was a highly elevated Brahmana, from very nicely trained by his father in these activities, and he had a very nice wife also. He was to be a very nice grihastha, but still he was tricked by the Supreme Personality of Godhead's insurmountable illusory energy. Therefore, this illusory energy is also said insurmountable. Even Devahuti in her prayer says that this is insurmountable energy. Even Prabhupada's pastime comes that one of the disciples, he was asking that how can we win over Maya? Prabhupada said it is impossible. It cannot happen. And Prabhupada walked away. Now this disciple, he got bewildered. Ki, impossible bol diya, so what is the chance? Then Prabhupada, in later point of time, he explained that by our own strength, engaging in so much austerity, renunciation, and cultivating goodness, we cannot defeat Maya. There is no question of us on our own strength defeating Maya. But then if one surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only then can one be delivered from Maya. Like he gave the example, or the example is given, that is, let's say a friend goes to meet another friend, and in his friends there is a big dog, let's say a Doberman or some very strong dog is there. Now if this friend goes to meet his friend, and suddenly that big dog, he comes and attacks, so can he save himself? No, he cannot save himself from the attack of wild animal. But then if his friend, he will say, Tommy चुपचाप बैठ जाओ शांति से साइड में, so at that time the dog will simply listen, because it is the energy of the dog, or the dog is subordinate to him. So similar is the condition of living entity, that if we are attacked by Maya, we cannot very nicely shield ourselves. We will definitely will fall victim to Maya. But then it is the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If Lord says that do not disturb my devotee, then at that time Maya will retract back, and we will not be tricked by this avidya. So therefore, bhakti is our weapon, the weapon of all the renunciants, not just renunciants, but everyone who want to aspire the lotus feet of Krishna. That bhakti is the weapon. And the 2 strongest weapons of us against Maya is Srimad Bhagavatam and chanting the holy names. Like the root causes which Prabhupada mentioned is Janasya Moyam Aham Memeti. That happens through Hridaya Granthi, or not in the heart. And there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that says what happens when you constantly hear Srimad Bhagavatam. What happens? Vidyate Hridaya Granthi Chidyante Sarva Samshaya Shiyante Chasya Karmani Drishva Evatmanishwara. When one sees himself above all these material things, he is able to give up this strong knot of heart. Hridaya Granthi is Vidyanti. It is completely cleared away. And Shiyante Chasya Karmani, whatever engagement or fruitive activity he was entangled, that is immediately Shiyanti or destroyed. That is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam, just by hearing. So Bhagavatam, actually it gives us constant reminders. It keeps us on track. The pastimes which were given in Bhagavatam from starting to end, it talks about one thing only, that is Ashraya. So Bhagavatam has 10 key aspects. It begins from Sarga, Visarga, Sthan, Poshan, Nirod, and so many like that. But the main aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam is Ashraya, or taking the shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it is not that Ashraya is given only in 10th canto, the name that is Samam Bonam or Ashraya. It's not that it is there in 10th canto only. It is there from the first cantos. The prayers which the devotees offer to Lord, that is an aspect of Ashraya only, taking the shelter of Supreme Personality of God. So it is distributed right from first canto, when Arjuna begins his prayer, or when Queens of Dwarka offers prayer, when Kunti Devi, when Bhishma Dev offer prayers. You see, prayers are everywhere in Bhagavatam. Whatever canto, whatever chapter open, that is aspect of prayers or aspect of surrenders to the Lord is only shown. So this is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam, that again and again it is teaching us to take the shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and there is no other means. That is only taught by these pastimes of Devahuti, or so many examples, so many case studies are discussed in Bhagavatam only to establish this point of taking ashraya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All 9 principal aspects of Bhagavatam, they all support, they are only there to support this 10th aspect, that is taking ashraya of Srimad Bhagavatam, Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is being taught by Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's a very, very powerful weapon for us that can destroy avidya. especially for brahmacharis, regularly and daily reading it, it will give us constant reminders of how not to get entangled. But if one starts to think this lightly and take this reading of Srimad Bhagavatam lightly, then with time what happens? The avidya power, it starts to trick us. And then we think, yaar, daily padne ki kya zarurat hai? Anyways, I'm stable. Like Vamshadan Prabhu was giving example of one of the brahmacharis. So he was not, of course, this was about not coming to morning program, but it is still relevant that brahmachari for many years altogether he was not coming for morning program, and people, all the superiors were very much strict that you come, but still he was lax, and he said itne saal se tika to hua hu. So now what is the problem in that? Nah, I can. And now he was given an important service of preaching outside or fund collection outside, where he had to meet with lot of materialists. So still the superiors want that, don't now at least you become serious about morning program. And he said itne saal se kuch nahi hua, abhi kya hua? And Prabhuji was saying that this is an open of this challenge to Maya. That, and when you give open challenge to Maya, it is again frog versus elephant fight. There is no question of frog can defeat an elephant. So with time, unfortunate thing happened and he slipped out of it. So the point it is that all these aspects are very, very important that protects us from the avidya. Of the avidya is very, very prominent. It is sitting in our head. It is waiting for us to trick at any point of time. But if we are constantly in touch with this Srimad Bhagavatam and holy name, then that is the only means by which we can be saved. Therefore, it is said Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Always study Bhagavatam. And even chanting, like when we were in the Brahmachari Sangha in the Sheshadripuram or Sarjapur center, it was there Sundar Sham Prabhu had come to give class. So after class Q&A was going on, and Purushottam Prabhu, he asked the question that sometimes some services are given to us and we are very, very fearful of blunder. Let's say an important question service is given to us and we are very fearful that kabhi blunder kar diya, big blunder kar diya, it will become a big problem. So in that fear, I feel like not taking services. So at that time, Sundar Sham Prabhu, he asked that what is the blunder you will do? Or what is the biggest blunder that can be done? It is, the biggest blunder is not getting or using the temple's money to for our own personal sense gratification. That is not a big blunder. Then having an association outside with, staying in brahmachari ashram but having an association with the women outside, even that is not a big blunder. The biggest blunder is not hearing the holy names of the Lord in the morning. From there only all these problems start. So he was emphasizing of hearing of the holy names of the Lord in morning, because that is the aspect that can give us protection against all these problems. Other all, he was saying that all other blunders are small blunders. The biggest blunder which a person was doing is not hearing the holy names of the Lord in the morning. Only because of that all these kinds of blunder happen. So only because of our not associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form of holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam, all these blunders are happening. So the problem is in the root, not in these things. So if root is proper, if you are taking proper association of Lord in form of holy name and Bhagavatam, then avidya can hardly trick us. That guarantee Prabhupada also gave, that you follow 4 regulative principles, you chant 16 offenseless rounds, and then Maya will not be able to touch you. That is a perfect guarantee that is offered by Srila Prabhupada. Because this holy name itself is very, very powerful. Like Bhurijan Prabhu, when he had come, he was giving the one of the point which I liked about the power of holy name. Like recently when he had come and he was giving class in Temple Land. So he was saying about holy name that he was mentioning to the pastime of Brahma Vimohan Leela. There where Krishna, he expanded into so many of his cowherd friends. And when Brahma, he got bewildered that he thought, abhi to cowherd friends ko main udhar chura ke leke gaya tha, abhi dobara kaise aa gaye idhar ye? So he came and he begged forgiveness from Krishna. At that time, all the cowherd friends, calves, all of them took the form of four-handed Vishnu, and they all were merging into Krishna. So he explained this is the power of Krishna, that unlimited number of Vishnus with unlimited strength are coming out of him, and these unlimited Vishnus are worshipped by in unlimited number of universes. So this is the energy of Krishna. So many unlimited Vishnus are coming, which have unlimited strength and which are worshipped in unlimited universes. This is energy of Krishna. And tatrarpita, these energies have been invested in holy names also. So holy name also is equally powerful to Krishna. It also has the same potency, so much unlimited energy this one holy name has. So that is, one should remember this power of holy name, and with this mode one should sit in chanting that how much powerful this holy name of Lord is, that it can give the highest deliverance to the people. This was a very strong motivation for myself also to try not to miss any holy name of Krishna while chanting. So Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Arpita, that comes in Shiksha Ashtakam, verse number 2, that all these potencies are invested in holy name also. So in any way, holy name is non-different from Lord Krishna, because Krishna has invested all his potencies in holy name also. So these two are our strongest weapons which can help us destroy avidya, and there is no other means. So therefore, in prayers of Lord Shiva also to Sankarshana, in the when he was offering prayers in the Ilavrata Varsha, Lord Shiva offering prayers to Sankarshana, he prayed to Sankarshana in the similar lines. So he said, I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than any of us, and under whose control are situated all demigods, material elements, senses, even Lord Brahma and I myself, like birds bound by a rope. So Lord Shiva is saying not just these demigods, but even Brahma himself. He want to talk of Brahma, even myself. We are all also bound to your material energy, just like a bird is bound by a rope. We have actually no freedom. It is only because of this illusory potency of Sankarsana that creates the false ego mentality that bounds the spirit and matter. So now Lord Shiva is asking, then what is the solution? The illusory energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead binds all the conditioned souls to this material world. Therefore, without being favored by him, person like us cannot understand how to get out of illusory energy. So until and unless one is favored by Sankarshana, the Kala of the Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, he can never break the bondage of this material world, and he can never destroy avidya. It is only by the mercy of Sankarshana that the conditioned living souls are getting bound, and it is only by the mercy of Sankarshana also that the conditioned souls are getting liberated. So it is in his power whether to give us attachment to matter or whether to give us releasement from the matter. So therefore, Lord Shiva himself, who is Vaishnava Nam Yatha Shambhu, he is offering these prayers that only by power of you, O Lord Sankarshana, can we also break this bondage of material existence. So it is only by the causeless mercy of Lord that one can destroy avidya, and there is no other means. So therefore, actually, this serves as a very, very strong motivation to take the shelter of Supreme Personality of God, because there is no other means. Either you stay in material world, or either you take the shelter of Krishna. There are no multiple options. दो ही option है, either keep struggling in the material world or simply take the shelter of Sri Krishna. So this serves as a very, very strong motivation to take the shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead and destroy avidya for good. So with this, I would like to pause. If there is any questions or comments, I can take. It's fine. So Prabhupada, member times he repeats this one. Associating the Srimad Bhagavatam is person Bhagavatam with Srimad Bhagavatam. So how much importance should we give for person Bhagavatam? Prabhupada said that the book Bhagavatam cannot be opened without the mercy of person Bhagavatam. So until unless there is mercy of person Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam cannot be opened. So पहली बात तो भागवतम खुलेगा तब when we get the mercy of pure Vaishnava only or Mahabhagavatam. Therefore, we have mercy of Prabhupada. Therefore, Bhagavatam is manifested in form of us. So therefore, the Bhagavatam which Prabhupada has given, it itself is the mercy of Prabhupada. The Prabhupada purports itself are the mercy of the Acharya. So therefore, mercy of Mahabhagavat is already there. Therefore, it is realized now Srimad Bhagavatam is opened by his mercy, so we should take full advantage of it. So reading Bhagavatam is also important, and serving physically Mahabhagavata or other Vaishnavas, that is also very, very important at the same point of time. But in that, we should not neglect this Bhagavatam, reading of this Bhagavatam. So a balanced approach, like a balanced diet is said, no? बचपन में पढ़ाया balanced diet. इतना रोटी सब्जी चपाती स्वीट सब कुछ होना चाहिए प्लेट में, so that for a better nutrition. So everything, a perfect balance of sadhana, seva, health, which is also going on recently, that a perfect balance of all three should be made. Nor if we disbalance seva in terms of someone is too much attached to sadhana and disbalance seva, that is also not good. Too much attached to seva and forgetting sadhana, that is also not good. So a perfect combination of sadhana, seva, health is what we are all looking for. And when we see that when all three are going very nicely, we feel very nice. We don't feel much tricked by Maya. But when any of these things go out of the way, then automatically Maya starts to become, avidya starts to become more and more strong. Thanks for such a nice class. I can nicely elaborate in the past times. So you mentioned this point of four Kumaras from beginning of the life, like we have some various lectures that they are Brahma. But Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning this. When they went to Vaikuntha, they took the darshan of the Lord, fragments of the feet and Tulsi of the Lord. They become the Vaishnavas.
Bhagavan, right? So here again, like how can we understand this?
That was my question also. That because Shukdev Goswami, he did not just say that they wanted to remain brahmachari, but he said that they were Vasudeva Parayana. They were devoted to Krishna or Vasudev, and therefore they did not want to get married. Now some purports can be given that what is the exact meaning of Vasudeva Parayana, but then it is still not very clear.
Check the words.
Means the chief aspect of goodness is illumination or vidya, that removes one from the illusory concept that I am this body. So when one is in goodness, one can get that kind of knowledge that is different from the body. Vidya is also two types, like when it is said Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janeti Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayadahit. So that Gyan or that Vidya is different from the Vidya which we are talking about. That when that Jnanam Chayad Ahetukam or the causeless knowledge it is talked about, that is caused about the knowledge of name, forms, qualities and pastimes of the Lord. So there Vidya means the knowledge of name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Lord, not the material Vidya or Sankhya which we talked about. So that Vidya is different from this Vidya. So the Vidya which is here, that is the key aspect of the material nature, Vidya, Vidya and Pradhana. That is not the Vidya of the transcendental names of holy name of form, qualities and pastimes. That is different. In this Shikshashtram verse also comes Vidya Vadu Jivana. So that is also, it's not that by chanting the holy name of the Lord one will get all the knowledge of Sankhya and he will know what is everything. He will not, it's not that he means he'll get the Vedic knowledge, but then he'll get the realization of the holy, the power or holy name, realization about the holy name and qualities and pastimes of the Lord. So that is the Vidya which a person gets, not the necessarily the Sankhya.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to hear your class. I'm ecstatic. It's very nicely structured and very nice content. I understand that you're reading Bhagavatam very nicely. You're able to relate to different points at different times. And also this question that you answered. So when you were speaking, I felt which Vidya are you speaking about? Do you have an understanding? You answered the question very nicely. That's very nice. One point which you made associated with Mahabharata in the mode of sense gratification also delivers the person. So I was just thinking that maybe in case of Gardhamamani and Devati, that might be the case. But otherwise, if a person is in the mode of sense gratification, then you will offend the Mahabharata. So how will we understand if he offends, then he is gone? How to understand that?
Means not in an offensive way. If it is done like this was given, this explanation was given by Prabhupada only in this purpose of this section only. That when one associates with a Mahabhagavata, even that the love matra sadhu sangha that is given, that even little bit association of these pure devotees, it helps one into deliverance. But then here, definitely it was in a non-offensive way. So I think if in offensive way, we have seen many examples like Srila Prabhupada, some people associated with Srila Prabhupada in an offensive way, like Mr. N, which we discussed in I'll Build Your Temple. So they did not had a favorable end at all, but they suffered a lot in the later point of time. So looking at the example, I think it means that in a favorable way. But essentially, I think it means that associating with a Mahabhagavata and not knowing his position, but still associating with him, but still the result will come. I think essentially it might mean that, and it automatically implies that it should be in a non-offensive way. Because in offensive way, we have seen that so many people, they suffered a fall down.
What about the mode of sense gratification? So offenseless mode of sense gratification.
That is like Devhuti's example only, that she wanted to enjoy, but still it was an offenseless kind of enjoyment. That would any wife would ask from husband that only. Like we see in the example of Diti also in Srimad Bhagavatam, that she also wanted to associate with Kashyapa to beget kids, because all the other wives of co-wives of Diti, they were having kids, so she was also very eager to have. And in that, Kashyap also glorifies that wife is meant for this only, you are not wrong. And I had read recently that if a wife approaches to husband for kids, and if the husband says no, then that is also a sinful activity. So therefore, such association, even though there might be sense gratification or this involved in this, but still it is non-offensive. So there might be cases when a person is approaching for sense gratification, but still it is non-offensive.
Thank you very much for this wonderful plan. I look forward to having it. Only one thing, since supposed to train you all. So content is very nice. It has to be presented also, obviously. So yeah, your speech was